Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of A Few Beers and a Shot. I'm Kyle.
I am Juan.
And to kind of piggyback off of episode 5, we were talking a little bit about supernatural and ghost stories and lucid dreams and everything like that. So we decided to take a little detour from our normal format and do a little campfire stories.
Yes.
And because, doing these kind of things, there are no laws, we're going to be knocking back a few White Claws.
Yes, we're going white girl crazy.
Yes, we are. So, let's see. We got 4 tall boys of White Claw. I think we got 3 strawberry and 1 blackberry because Juan does not like blackberry, but I don't mind it so much.
I like the blueberry.
So, they don't have a blueberry.
I know, I said I like blueberries though.
So what we'll do is we will open these up while having our nice campfire going.
Yeah.
And talk about some stuff of the supernatural. What do you say?
I love it. Do you want to talk about supernatural show or supernatural stories?
Well, we could do a little bit of both. We don't know. It just depends on how long you want this episode to go.
Well, let's just go down the rabbit hole and see where it takes us.
Okay. So let's see. Let's start with I'll start off with one ghost story.
Okay. First of all, can we cheers to the 6th episode?
Yes. Cheers to the 6th episode, and let's have some fun with these campfire stories.
Yeah. Don't judge us. Oh, that's good.
Yes, it is.
Yep. I'm glad we decided to do this episode with this format.
Oh yeah, me too. So let's see. My first ghost story.
Shoot.
Dude, it goes back to high school.
Okay.
And I had a school trip down to Atlanta, Georgia for a jazz band competition because I played bass in the jazz band. So we go down to Atlanta to be in this competition, and we stayed at this regular hotel in Atlanta. And there was 4 people per room, so every room had 4 people, and we were in the biggest room.
Yeah.
So our room was like the common room because we had like a kitchen and like a living room area aside.
The deluxe room.
Yes, we had the deluxe of the deluxe rooms there.
We had the king suite.
So how it was set up, it was door to the hallway.
Yeah.
Then like a pull-out couch bed, a wall, and then king size bed, floor, king size bed.
Okay.
So how we slept was one dude slept on the pull-out bed, one dude slept on the regular bed, one dude slept on the floor in between the beds, and another dude slept on the other bed. And we rotated. We were there for like 5 days. Yeah. So we rotated on who slept where. So not everybody, the one dude just didn't sleep on the floor.
Yeah.
So that particular night, we went to a Jamaican restaurant. We had jerk chicken. We had like a little party going on in our room. Yeah, no. We had a little party going on in our room, and then at a certain point in the night, the chaperones come and kick everybody else out of the rooms. It's curfew time. You have to go to bed. Yeah. And they would put tape on the outside of the door because if you open the door, you fucked up the tape.
Busted. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was time to go to bed, and there was one dude slept on the couch bed. This other kid slept on the closest bed. Yeah. My buddy JT slept on the floor. And then I slept on the furthest bed away from the door. So I'm all the way by the window. And there's the doors over on that side. Yeah. So we just all knock out, go to sleep. It had to have been like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I wake up fucking freezing. Like air conditioning is going on full blast. I'm just like freezing my ass off. Yeah. So I wake up and I'm like, damn, dude, go and I turn off the air conditioning. Yeah. And as I turn off the air conditioning, I turn and I look towards the door because I have to turn around and go back to bed. The door to our hotel room is open, like wide open. And I could see the door across the hall. And then like the emergency lights when the power goes out? Yeah. Like those lights are on?
The floodlights?
Yeah. Yeah. So the floodlights are on. Not the regular lights in the hallway. The floodlights are on.
Yeah, like the power went out.
Yeah.
Floodlights.
But our door is wide open. And then all of a sudden, the only thing I can hear coming in the room is just...
Holy shit.
That, and then a heartbeat, and I just hear that, and boom, 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 boom. So that's all I'm hearing, right? And I'm looking around, and then all of a sudden, dude, it was like a black figure just like morphs up into the doorway, and is just standing there,
like how tall?
Like the whole door. It took up the whole door,
like 6 feet tall.
Yeah. Okay. So it took up the whole door, and then I can't hear anything else but this breathing going on. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
But it wasn't like that Britney breathing, like...
No. It was like a deep, like, scary, like, you're fucking, like, I don't know why I can't hear anything else but this thing breathe. So me, being fucking, 16, 17 years old, my dumb ass, I decided to jump back in the bed. So I jump back into my bed, and I pulled the covers over me, but I still hear the breathing, and I look over, and the thing is still standing there. And the door is still open and everything else.
And where's the other dudes just not?
So everybody's still sleeping. So then I wake up the dude JT on the floor. Yeah. I'm like, JT, wake up. He's like, what's up, dude? I'm like, dude, put your glasses on and tell me what you see. And he's like, what? I'm like, just put your glasses on, look towards the door, and just tell me what you see, dude. That's all I want to know. So he goes, and he's laying down, and he pops his head back up, and he looks, and then he fucking flings his head back. He goes, who the fuck's in our doorway, dude? Who the fuck is in our doorway? I'm like, you see that too? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, this is what we're going to do, dude. You're going to turn on the light. I'm going to fucking jump off the bed and run towards the door. Because if this
straight at it?
Yeah. And if this is somebody fucking playing with us, we're going to beat the shit out of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I laid there. I pulled the covers completely away from me. I'm like, all right, 3, 2, 1. Flip on the lights, jump towards the door. Door's fucking closed. I look out the peephole. All the lights are on. There ain't
normal lights.
Like normal lights.
Yeah.
Everything. There's nothing fucking there.
That's fucking trippy.
And then the craziest part about that is, as soon as I sat down, I blinked, and it was 8 o'clock in the morning, and we had to leave.
Damn.
Yeah.
That is... It's one of those, like... I don't want to go down this rabbit hole yet, because that's a whole nother episode, but it's kind of like one of those time lapses where you lose time or whatever. That's crazy.
But yeah, dude, I literally thought I was going to die that night because of how weird it was.
I would shit my pants.
And the fact that I could see across the hall made it even different. Like, because I'm like, well, it could have been... No, it was different because I saw the door across the hallway.
I love the fact that you went back to bed and got under the covers, and I was hearing people. Well, I think Bill Burr has a thing on there like, yes, I can get on the covers, like, it's impenetrable knives.
It's your comfort zone because you're like, shit, don't worry, nothing will happen.
But it's just funny. It's like, they can't get me under here. This is base. This is home base. This is my comfort zone.
Yep,
I can do whatever I want under here.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's crazy, dude. That's a pretty messed up story. So, I guess I'll start off with a pretty strong one. I was wondering if I should keep this for last, but since it's like a two-parter,
okay, because
me and the guy that lived it, one of the guys that lived it, we went back and talked about it to another person who didn't believe the story, as I told him growing up. And yeah, it's trippy, dude. So this is when I was a little kid. I was probably like 5 or 6, living down in Mexico, and we have a house down there. And all the, like our neighbors.
Chupacabra.
No, Chupacabra was like 6 years later.
Oh, okay.
But we were, so we were little, right? And we all lived in like a few houses apart from each other, like, or even next door. And our moms would play Loteria, which is like Mexican bingo, basically. But with they have like little stamp cards with little different characters. So... we were at this lady's house across the street, a few houses down, and we were, me and my buddy were like 5, 6, so I was getting pretty obnoxious about like wanting a toy or something because I was bored, and the moms are playing, they're having a good time, and I'm just like, I'm bored. So I told my mom, like, I want a toy, can I go to the house? And she's like, oh, no. So there was like 3 of us little kids there, and I was like, well, we'll just all walk together, we'll go. And I was like, you're walking like 50 feet maybe to my house. So we walk over there, and at that point the house we had down there we had a big what do you call it, like a big entrance, but it had, it's not bars. It's like a big gate that goes from the floor all the way to the ceiling, which is like 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
And then next to that, we used to have we call it a deposito. It was like a little store. We ran like a little convenience store, and we had 2 glass doors. And on the side of those doors, we had 2 alamo trees, like big alamo trees. So I told my buddies, I'm like, hey, I want to go get this toy because I'm bored. And we all kind of like shared toys and played with the same kinds of toys. So I'm like, yeah, let's go. So we're going, and it was me, this dude, Angel, and I don't remember if this other dude was with us. He was my next door neighbor, Salvador, and Monica. She lived at the house that we were at. She was the granddaughter of the lady that lived there. So we're walking, and she was the oldest. She was like a year or 2 older than us, and she accompanied us halfway. So we get to the front of my house, and we look up, and I'm not shitting you. I thought it was the devil, dude, because I saw like a figure, and it had wings, and it had the fucking hooven feet and everything. It was red, and it was bright, and it was between the trees, and we just like freaked out, dude. So we booked back to the house where all the moms were at, and we were crying, and we were going on about it. We're like, oh my god, there was something there, blah blah blah. To me, I was like, that was the devil, dude.
Yeah,
that was whatever you want to call them, all the names they got. And as we're running back, this girl Monica, she stops like at the halfway point, turns back, and it was gone. But she saw it, like we all saw it, like all 4 of us. We were little kids, we saw it.
Yeah.
And when we get back, they were laughing at us. They thought we were joking. They're like, "Oh, haha, that's funny because the devil just came up on the loteria," and we were just bawling, dude. So that's part 1. Everybody like made fun of us. They're like, "Oh, you guys are crazy," blah blah blah, etc. And so later on, I'm talking like in my 20s. This is when I was in college. Me and so that dude Angelo, he didn't live there anymore. He lived in another part of town, which is kind of like going from where we are to Summit.
Okay.
So he had to take a drive.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, man, let's hang out. Me and my buddy were hanging out. We were looking to have some beers. And I was like, we could tell him that story about when we were little.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, okay. So we go over there, and this dude's like spiritual. Like he's like very hippie-ish, but like in a good way. And so we're like, yeah, dude. So we're drinking. We got a couple of beers, I think they were 40s, but we're sitting in like his parents' house in the backyard, and we're just hanging out. And I was like, hey, dude, this guy, I told him the story. He doesn't believe me. And this other dude was like, he gets scared easily. Like, I have another story about him. I'll tell you in a minute, but to stay on track with this one, so we start telling him the story. And he, like, I was like, look, dude, I'm not even going to talk at this. I'm not even going to tell you the story. Let him tell you the story. This dude, Angel was like, yeah, dude, that, like, he told him, like, A through Z, exactly. Like, I was like, there's no way we could have rehearsed this, like, from when I'm telling you the story to then.
Yeah.
Like, to when we got there. So then we were there, and this guy was like, he started tripping, dude. Like, because there was like a dark, like a dark spot. This was at night. We were hanging out drinking at night. We're in this patio, and you just hear this dude he's like, oh my god, dude, I feel a presence. So we did the whole thing where like, let's just hold our hands, man, and nothing can get here. Let's do like a prayer or something. Because we're talking like it's always been told to me or said to me that like you talk about this shit, you're inviting that shit in.
Yeah.
But as long as you got faith and you got a strong will or whatever, it's like it shouldn't affect you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the fact that they like we told this dude the story, same. He's like, oh yeah, man, we walked halfway. He's like, this girl, everybody, like same people, the exact same story, A through Z was the same, and he was like, that dude fucking tripped. He was like, I thought you were fucking lying the whole time. He's like, I thought you were full of crap.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you guys could not have rehearsed that because he said it exactly the same way. He's like, you guys didn't even like change your words. It's like he read something you wrote down.
Yeah.
He's like, that's how concrete the story was. So this dude was like tripping balls. He was like, I can't believe you were full of shit the whole time. And then I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, that shit happened. I was like, at least we think it happened. because it was pretty.
Yep.
We were pretty on it, dude.
Hmm.
So that's my my kickoff ghost story.
Yeah, I got a couple other ones, man. I remember there was one time. There was one time at work, we got a call.
Yeah.
Now at Lewis University on 53.
Yeah.
That house that's on the other side of the street. Like if you're driving like from like Romeoville to like towards my house.
Okay.
And you're driving on 53, like Lewis University is on this side.
Yeah.
And then there's that house.
It's like one of those houses that's like next to nothing.
Yes.
Okay.
So we got a call.
'Cause there's a couple of those.
But so this is one that's like owned by the university.
Okay.
So at night they have police officers, but they also have like campus safety officers that work there that don't have guns or anything. They're just like security guards.
Like, I'm gonna tase you. I'm gonna spray you with my pepper spray.
So they got a call for an alarm there one night, and then none of the cops were working, so they had to call us to come help them. So I go out there, me and two other guys. We go out to help them.
Yeah.
And while we're there, I asked them when we got up there, I'm like, hey, is this going to be like, is everything supposed to be open? Like, are the doors closed? Whatever, like what's going on?
Yeah.
And the one guy looks at me, he goes, nothing should be open. All the doors should be closed. We should be able to just open the door, walk in real quick, turn around and walk out. I'm like, okay, cool. Opens the door. Every fucking door is open. Every cabinet door is open. Everything's fucking open. So he opens the door. He's like, whoa. He goes, this shouldn't be like this right now. So we're like, okay, shit, there must be somebody here. So we're checking the main floor first. And we're like, all right, let's check the main floor. We go through the main floor. Everything seems fine. My buddy JJ goes and he opens the door to the basement, opens it, looks it, closes it, walks away. I go to look at the door because I didn't know that he went there yet. The door's locked. Door ain't opening. I'm fucking tugging on it.
The same door.
Same door. I'm pulling out. I'm like, hey, is this door supposed to be locked? And JJ comes back around. He's like, oh, dude, I just opened that door. And I'm like, you just opened this door? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, try it. It's not fucking opening.
Yeah.
So he's tugging. He's like, whoa, this is fucking weird. So we checked everything we could. Everything was fine. And then we go up to the second story. And we're looking up there, and we have we go through all the doors. Everything's fine. The only weird thing we find is a what are those called? The Grim Reaper,
like safe.
Yeah, the safe. We find a safe up there, just laying fucking up in one of the rooms, just laying there. We're like, all right, that's kind of weird.
Grass cutting tool.
Yeah, I guess so. But
old timey grass.
Yeah, you have it on the second floor, But anyway.
Yeah.
So then the security guard dude's like, all right, yeah, everything looks good here. We just got to check the barn that's in the back. He's like, there's a barn here too. We're like, okay, cool. So we're walking to the barn, and my buddy Christian is in front of me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I look at JJ. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna fuck with him. He's like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, watch. So I took a twig, and I just whipped it at the barn, and it made a noise. He goes, pulls on his gun, almost pops off around into the garage, and we just bust out laughing, dude. So then we go and we look at the.
That's a dick move.
I know it was. So we go and we look at the barn, and everything's fine at the barn.
Yeah.
I look back up, so we had to turn around. So we're looking back at the house when we're turning around, and I'm like, damn, dude, I feel like I'm being watched, like. Somebody's looking down at us.
Yeah, like you feel eyes on you.
So, dude, I shine my flashlight back up on the second floor of the house, and the fucking blinds open and close.
Damn.
And I'm not talking about, not like the wind blowing it open. I'm talking about, it went.
Like somebody opened it.
Like somebody opened it, and then somebody closed it.
Yeah.
And I saw that, JJ saw that, and one of the security guards saw that. I'm like, you just fucking saw that. Somebody closed those blinds right now.
Like somebody's up there.
Then they were like, fuck, we have to go back up there.
Yeah.
And they didn't have enough time to get out, because if they would have got out, there was nowhere to go. There's no cars there. They would have had to have been running somewhere, and we would have heard them.
Do they have an attic? Could have been
no attic.
Or something?
No attic, nothing. Get back up there, nothing, dude.
Damn.
And I have every time since then, whenever I drive on 53 at night, I have the creepiest feeling going past that place. I don't even look at it.
Yeah.
I refuse to look at it when I drive home at night. if I'm in that area and I have to go past it in the dark,
Well,
I refuse to look at it.
That's a very, like, I don't want to say super rural area where you're like in the middle of nowhere, but like it's pretty rural.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no mercurial light.
No.
Like the street lights or whatever.
Mm-mm.
There's like
No, but you could, and dude, it's just like the feeling that I get in that area. I just don't want to be around it.
yeah.
Like I've told Colleen that story tons of times, and she's like, "Yeah, I always had a weird feeling." I'm like, let me know, like, I know.
I'm
Oh,
not
here,
driving
and here's the
past
crazy.
that shit,
Like, I forgot to tell you about the basement.
Okay.
So like we couldn't get into the basement through the house,
yeah.
so we had to go on the outside, and they had a key for the basement door to go outside. So like,
Yeah.
you had to go down this like little like old like fucking 200.
Like a two door thing.
No, it was like you had to walk down and then doors down there at the bottom with the lock.
Okay, so like a basement door.
Yeah, so we go down to the basement door, and if we fucking open it, and dude, from head to fucking toe, spider webs.
Ugh.
So nobody, like, you, if you were down there, like, you would know somebody was down there because they would had to walk through it.
Yeah.
We opened, and I look at the dude, I'm like, fuck you, close this door. There ain't nobody down here, dude. I'm like, there ain't nobody down here. We're okay. He's like, no, we need to check. I'm like, you walk through that fucking shit, and you get bit by whatever fucking spider's down here because, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
But
Like,
dude,
nope, I'm good, thank you.
But yeah, dude, the I've had
The vibe.
I was there for when that incident happened. I was probably in year 4 or 5, so 4 or 5. So like 4 years driving like there, like having that creepy feeling at night every night that I worked there.
Like, so if you drove down it, I don't want to say tonight, but if you would like every time you drive down,
every time I drive at night down there, like I get that tingling down my spine. And like the hairs stand up back here every time I'm in that area at night.
Yeah.
Not during the day, but at night.
Yeah.
Like it creeps me out.
Oh, I bet, dude. I get like, I don't know if this happens to you, but
And I have some creepy stories of like people I work with and shit that they told me.
oh yeah, no,
Oh, dude, like
I've got
there's this one dude I have to tell you about. Oh, dude, it's weird.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we've all got stories that, like, you hear from a friend, a cousin, a family member, somebody who knows somebody that this happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
But like I remember, like I got so many stories I could tell. But the next one that comes off is picking back off the last one I told you. The same dude that didn't believe the story that I told him before. So when we were living down in Mexico, there's alleged haunted houses.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to this house that was on the edge of a cliff, I guess you want to call it. And that house was left in a gray state, like it wasn't finished. It was never finished. And there was different stories about it, like, oh, it's because the guys that were building it, one of the guys died. It was a very big house. It was like tall, and the story was allegedly this dude had it built like that, and it had ramps going in circles, like up, like a spiral up. But it was for his daughter who was in a wheelchair, and they're like, oh, his daughter died, or one of the guys that was working in it died, and blah blah blah. It was called La Casa de los Tubos, the tube house. So very famous, and it was in like a gated community, so you had to like have access to that community to be able to go to the front door of it, but you could see it from the outside. And so I had heard stories. A different buddy of mine told me, he's like, oh, I went there one time and this shit happened. His story to tell, but it was like a scary story. My story with my buddy was so we went to the house. We had heard all the horror stories, so we're like, let's go check it out, man.
Mm-hmm.
It was just me and my buddy. We're like, let's go check it out. And we got access because there was no guard, so we went in. The gate was open, so we got to the front door, and I was like, dude, it's just me and you. Do you really want to do this? So we're like, you know what? We made it to the front. I think we're good.
Yep.
So we're like, but hey, man, let's go. Like, you could go up like it was like you're like on the edge of a cerro, which is kind of like a mountain or a hill, and you could keep going up, but it was all like, it wasn't like gravel road or anything. It was just like stones, and it's like a path, like an old timey path.
Okay.
And at this time, there was a story in the news about the Witch of Guadalupe, which is where we lived. So everybody's like, oh yeah, man, like there was recordings, and it was like you see a spot flying around in the sky or crazy shit like that. But we're like, it's propaganda, it's the media, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So we're like, dude, let's go up there. Like we're going into unknown territory. It's like the path is as wide as a car, and like on the right side and the left side you have bushes. That's it. Like you get brush. So we go up, and at one point, like you couldn't turn around. You had to like reverse out. So we're going up, and we see like a little arch, like an opening, like a little entrance. And I'm like, and I tell my buddy, I'm like, dude, wouldn't it be fucked up if that's where the Witch of Guadalupe lives? So this dude freaks out. He hits reverse. We like peel out in reverse. We get out of the gated community, and like he's like, all right, dude, no man, that's crazy. We've done too much tonight. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm like, let's, you can drop me off, and that's it.
Yeah,
we'll call it a night. We weren't drinking it, by the way. We were just hanging out, and so we're driving home, and this dude's like telling me all. He's like repenting for everything. He's like, "Oh my god, I gotta be a better person." He's like, and he was telling me like other stories he had. He's like, "I gotta be a better person, man, because God's watching me." He became very religious, like Catholic wise. But I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, we gotta be better people, man. We, it's the world we're leaving to our kids, and blah blah blah. So we're doing all this positive talk because all the shit that happened that night, and he drops me off, right? And at this point, I was living with my aunt and uncle. So I'm like, I get home, I had keys to the house, so I go in, I get into my room, and I'm like, all right, I guess change, jump in bed, and that's it. And then like as soon as I'm done changing and I jump into bed, this dude, he's like screaming at the outside of the house. He's like, dude, blah blah blah. And then like I jump out of bed, I go to the front door, and my aunt pops out. She's like, no, he probably got in a fight, and he wants you to go out and like get into a fight with whoever he's fighting with, blah blah blah. And I'm just like, I don't think so, because I mean he just went around the block. He was going home, he's just gonna turn around. And I'm like, the dude rolled up with his like car doors open, like passenger and driver's side. He had a Chevy. It was like a small car. And my uncle's like, he's probably drunk. And I'm like, we were drinking. He's like, all right, we'll go see what he wants. I'm like, okay. So I got out. I'm like, dude, what's up? He's like, the dude was pale, dude. He was scared out of his mind. I'm like, what happened, dude? What's wrong with you? And he's like, dude, after I dropped you off, I was, I was talking to myself in the car, just like, I gotta be a better person. I gotta be positive, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I looked in my rear view mirror, and it was like somebody was in the back seat, like lurking over me. It's like I couldn't see their face. It was just like a figure.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, really? He's like, yeah. I was like, you sure like a cat didn't jump in? I was like, are you sure a cat didn't like jump in when I got out? He's like, nah, dude, I'm not playing. I'm like, I'm not playing either. I was like, dude, a cat could have jumped in and they, jumped on your seat.
Yeah.
And they could have just like, I saw a figure.
Oh, hey,
like,
oh.
Yeah. Hey, yo, hey.
Hey.
But dude was freaked out. So the comical side of that story, my uncle heard that the whole time. And one time we were like tarping his roof. he saw, I told my buddy, I was like, hey man, I got to tarp my uncle and my aunt's roof. You want to come? I was like, you want to hang out? I got to do that. You want to help? Cool. If not, no big deal. He's like, oh, is that the guy that saw the witch in his car or whatever?
Oh man.
But yeah, no, dude was like, he was out of his mind, dude. He was like scared. And I told him, I was like, dude, you want me to like, I was like, he didn't live that far. It was like a 20-minute walk from me, like walking slow.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, you want to, I'll go with you to your house and I'll just walk back. And this is like walking like in a truck stop area where it's like 3 blocks of just like trucks, and it's like a boneyard almost. And I was like, I'll walk through it. I don't give a shit, dude. He's like, nah, dude, I'm good. I was like, all right, careful with the witch on your way home.
Yeah. Do a little prayer before you leave.
Yeah. You keep praying, motherfucker.
Damn. Well, since we were talking about a friend, I'll talk about one of mine. So this dude I used to work with at DuPage, he was, there was one day him and his wife were getting ready to go out or whatever. So he's in the shower, and she's standing in the bathroom getting ready. And they have like 2 younger kids, but they were like sleeping or whatever. So he's in the shower, just, doing his thing. And he opens the door. He's like, what did you just say? Like he pulls the curtain back. He's like, what'd you say? I didn't hear. She's like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, I just heard you say something. Like, what did you say?
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I thought that was you talking to me. And she's like, I was just about to ask you what you said.
Yeah.
So then he turns off the shower, and like they hear a voice, but they can't understand what the voice is saying.
It's like a whisper.
And it's like in the house. So they hear this voice in the house, but they can't figure out what this voice is actually saying.
It's like when you drink that, was it sparkling Bud Light or whatever, where it's like you taste it, but the flavor's all the way in the other room.
Sure, yeah. So he's like, man, this is really weird. And then,
was it like white noise?
No, but it was like, all he was hearing was like he was hearing somebody actually talk.
Like a TV was on in another room.
But you couldn't hear what they were saying.
Right, you can't.
But
make
they were,
out,
but nobody, but there was nothing else on in the house.
Okay.
But just them.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, well, this is fucking weird. Okay. So then they just go out and do whatever they're doing. And then, so that was one part of the weird thing that was going on there. And then there was another night where he put his kids to bed, his wife is sleeping, everything else, and they have all these, they have their toys and the kids' toys and everything all over the room.
Yeah.
And he's putting everything away, everything's away nice. And he's sitting there and he's like, dude, he's like, there was just, I had a weird feeling in the house. He's like, it just felt like there was something with me, like following me the whole time in the house. He's always felt that way. There's always been weird noises and clanks and stuff. And he ended up looking up his address on Google Earth or Google Maps, whatever. And his
Google history.
And the property where he's at used to be some like weird church.
Wow.
That like doesn't exist, and you like even when you Google it, he's like, I tried Googling it, and he goes, it doesn't come up, like nothing comes up with it
like
at
a
all.
Cult kind of deal.
Yeah, like a really weird one. So as he Googled all that shit, and he's like, fuck, dude, this is weird. So then the next night was what I was getting to now. His kids are sleeping, his wife's in bed, everything else. So he's just sitting there watching TV for a little bit, and he's like, all right, it's time for me to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So there's all his kids' toys are in another room, like 2 rooms away from where he's at.
Yeah.
Maybe like a room, whatever. But he has to walk from like the room he's at into another room to go up the stairs.
Yeah.
So the room will be over here where the toys are at.
Yeah.
So he turns off the lights and walks up to the stairs, and one of the toys goes, "Peekaboo, I see you," and starts laughing.
Shut the front door.
This dude, like, and he's a really big, buff, fucking, he's an awesome dude. He gets so fucking, like, he's like, holy shit, runs up the stairs, fucking locks the door, everything. He wakes up his kids, brings his kids into his bedroom with them, so he has his guns and everything ready to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, dude, he goes, that was one of the scariest moments of my life.
Action figures.
Yeah, because he was just like, it was just a little, it's like, and it was just like, he turns off the lights, and as he's walking up, it's like, peekaboo, I see you. And he goes like, ha, 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 ha. Like a laugh that toy doesn't do. It did.
Did it even do the peekaboo to begin with?
No.
Dude, that is messed up.
So he tells me this shit. I'm like, dude, I don't ever want to go to your house.
I'm getting rid of all my shit.
I'm like, don't invite me over. I don't want to know. But yeah, dude, it was his house, like the shit that he would tell me about his house was just so fucking weird.
Dude, that is crazy. I would have shit my pants.
Oh, so would I.
No kidding, dude. I would have, I wouldn't even have stayed in the house. I would have been like, well, I'll tell you this story next. So, the house that my family has in Mexico is uninhabited right now because, we live up here. So, but that's always been like my dad bought that house. We lived there when I was little, etc., etc. And so when I was living down there, my brothers were all up here, so I was living down there. I lived for a short period with my aunt and uncle, and then I went to move with my grandparents. But the house was still available. And that was like I used that house to get together with my friends. Mm-hmm. Like, we need a spot where nobody's going to bother us, blah, blah, blah. So one night, we're like, dude, let's just get together. We'll get some beers or whatever, get some food, and we'll watch movies. And at this point, we had a co-ed group, so it was guys, girls, whatever. We just hung out. There was nothing else going on. So I so this house was always like, when I left, I would always shut the breakers off. And to turn them on, I would have to go in completely dark and go to the breaker room, which is where the water heaters are at and stuff, and turn them on. But I had to walk through a pitch black room, so I had to get some sort of light. So anyway, we're like, okay, we made the plan. It was 3 of us, and we were like, okay. So we get there, we turn everything on, everything normal. And I tell this dude, I'm like, hey man, why don't you guys run and get some beers or whatever and come back, and I'll wait here. And this dude was like, he was lazy. He's like, nah man, you go. And I was like, really, dude? I was like, you can't go to the 7-Eleven, which is like 2 blocks away? He's like, nah man, I want to stay here, you go. So I told the other guy, I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna need help, so let's go.
Mm-hmm.
I'll drive, we'll get some whatever, some, beer, drinks, whatever, and come back. And we left this dude inside the house with everything open. Like the gate was open, the front door was open, because we're like, we're gonna hang out here.
Yeah.
So we go, we get whatever we need to get. We come back. This dude's sitting out on the sidewalk, and he's like like not in a fetal position, but like a standing up or sitting up fetal position. Like he's holding his knees. And I'm like, you see this fucking guy? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay. So we're like, dude, what's up? He's like, dude, I was inside the house. I was like, yeah, we left you inside the house. He's like, I heard a baby crying. So I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I heard a baby crying. I was like, where? He's like, in the back room. So I'm like, I've never heard that. He's like, I'm serious, dude. So I'm like, okay. So I walk through the house, turn all the lights on. I go back, and I'm like, there's no toys or anything here that would be the reason for maybe like a baby doll toy or something.
Yeah.
I'd be like, me. No, he's like, dude, I heard a baby cry, like really close. And it wasn't, I was like, my neighbors don't have babies. So I was like, okay. So that's happening. I'm like, that's going on. But like in that house, like some weird stuff's happened to me in that house prior to my dad dying, because my dad passed away in that house. Like when I was living down there by myself, sometimes I would go party, and I wouldn't go to my grandparents' house and be all fucked up and go to bed.
Yeah,
because I didn't want to do that. I was like, I don't know how loud I'm gonna be, and I think I'm being like super ninja silent.
Yeah, but you're knocking everything over.
Right, exactly.
Oh, I'm really quiet, and it's like next to you.
Yeah, and they have a steel door, so it's like you open it, and it's like. Yeah. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be that guy.
They know you're home from like 3 blocks away. Like, Juan's home.
Yeah. So I would, like, if that happened, usually on the weekends, I would just go to that house and I was by myself. And I'm like petrified of pitch black, dude. So I'm like, I would walk in, turn on lights, and like I would fall asleep with the TV on. Like I wouldn't even put the timer. I was like, TV staying on all night. I don't care as long as it's just the TV and the VCR or whatever. This is VCR times, dude.
Oh yeah.
So I would put on a movie, whatever, play it, and I wouldn't even sleep in a room, dude. I would sleep in like the living room, because I was by myself. I would sleep in the living room, put the couch in front of the TV, play a movie. This is that 53-inch projector TV that I told you I had when we played Smash Brothers with my buddies. And I would just be like, boom, big ass light on. I'm watching a movie until I pass out, and when I wake up, it'll just be like, the TV will still be on. I'll give some sort of light. So one night, I went out, partied, whatever, and I'm like, I'm just gonna crash at the house. So I get to the house. I'm like, still like, you get that feeling, that uneasy feeling, but you're like, I'm fucking tired. I want to go to bed.
Yeah.
So I go there, turn on the TV, put in a movie, rewinded it so it'll play for at least 2 hours. I was like, I'll pass out before the 2 hours is over. Turn on the TV, play the movie, go to bed. I woke up. I don't even know what time it was, but it was still dark. Wake up, TV's off, VCR's off. It was like somebody killed the power completely. I fucking panicked. I went and I sat outside on the sidewalk like my buddy did until the sun came up.
Jeez.
Then I went back in the house and I'm like, I'm out. Like I made sure, like I was like, there's no, like I went, checked the breakers, nothing. There was no reason for the power to be out.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that was trippy. But then, like, that was before my dad passed away, and after that, like, nothing ever happened. So I feel like my dad kind of protected that house. He was like, bitches, this is my territory. You leave my kids alone. But yeah, it was a trippy experience.
Yeah, that would freak me out too, man.
Well, dude, it's like that house has one window that is aimed at the front, right? And we have the gate. It's like we have a roof over it, so it's like no light comes through.
Okay.
So it's like dark. So I woke up and it was like pitch black. You could see like a little bit of light coming through the window from like the street lights.
Mm-hmm.
But like you could hardly see anything. So I freaked. And I just ran out and I sat outside smoking on the sidewalk until the sun came up. Like I didn't hear anything. There was no noises, nothing. Like it was just like a blackout. And that was like the one thing that like I get freaked out by. Like if I went blind, that's like the worst thing that could happen to me. I'd be like, just kill me. I'd be like, I'm done. Yeah. That's like the worst thing you could do to me.
All right. Well, that's a little weird to...
I'm just saying, it's like my biggest fear.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it gives me a sense of unease that I don't know what's going on.
Because you can't see what's going on.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But then all the other senses would be heightened.
Yeah, that happens over time,
like
though.
You'd be able to hear...
Like if you went blind and it happened over time, yeah, your other senses will become heightened.
Yeah.
But like if you wake up in the middle of the night and it's pitch black,
oh, I know.
Your senses are not going to be heightened.
I know, like the like sleep paralysis.
That's happened to me,
dude. That's happened to me a few times, and it freaked the fuck out of me.
Well, that's like
I had one.
Okay, so tell your one, and I'll tell my one. But that's like before we get into it.
I had a few.
Okay.
But this one is the one that freaked me out the most.
Yeah, I'll tell you the one that freaked me out the most.
Because, like,
too.
so...
I've had it happen to me a couple times.
So I think you probably were still living in... No. You're probably in Mexico at the time. But I was living in an apartment in LaGrange. And...
Solo?
No. Lindsay and Braxton.
Okay.
So Lindsay was at work. Actually, no. Braxton wasn't even born at the time. So we were living there still. We're there. But she's out at work doing... Yeah, she was at work.
Doing work things.
Yeah. And I'm sleeping. I was taking a nap. Because I was working Monday through Friday. And it was like a Saturday or Sunday, whatever it was. So I was just taking a nap because I was doing whatever throughout the day. Yeah. I'm just sleeping. Yeah. And then my eyes are open. But I can't move and I can't talk.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to open my mouth and I'm trying to say something, but no words are coming out. And I'm trying to move, and I'm like, I can't move, and all I hear is like a voice whispering in my ear. All I hear is a voice, and I can't understand what it's saying, but it's just like repeating something over and over and over again, really slow and like not slow, but just really quiet and. It's just repeating something over and over and over and over. Was
it like a soothing voice? Or
no. Like it was creepy. I couldn't understand what it was saying. And the only thing that came to my head is that I needed to keep saying the Hail Mary prayer over and over and over again. So I kept on saying it. And I probably said it for like, I couldn't tell you how many times I was saying it over and over in my head because I couldn't physically say it.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it over and over in my head, and then I could start hearing it in my head. But as I'm saying it, something is laughing at me while I'm saying it.
No shit?
Like, legitimately, I could hear a laugh. But I had to say it. I couldn't, like, I probably had to say it maybe about 50 times. I kept on saying it over and over again, over in my head, over in my head, over in my head, to when I got to the point where I was saying it out of my mouth. And then I was able, and then it was like... It was
like jerked out of it.
And it was literally like, it was done.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, was I like about to be possessed?
Ooh.
And like, I fought it off. Because it was really weird, dude. Like I'm laying there and I'm completely motionless.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around and I can't talk.
Yeah.
And all I'm hearing is this voice that's not saying anything distinct, and the only thing that comes to my mind is to say the Hail Mary prayer.
Yeah.
And I had to keep saying it over and over and over and over again in my head.
Yeah.
For me to hear it, for me to then say it, for me to jerk out of the paralysis that I was in.
Yeah. Well, I've had sleep paralysis a couple times, but nothing where I heard anything. Like it was just like you're frozen and you're awake, but you can't move. So the one time it happened, it was I was crashing at my buddy's house, and he had his 2-story house. The second story was built afterwards, and that was like they made it his like little pad. It had 2 rooms. It had a big like common area, and then it had a balcony. And one time we were just hanging out. I think I was helping him set up his surround sound. So we were there. We do whatever we were doing. We're watch TV or whatever, and then we're drinking, and then you go to bed. But we weren't like drunk. We weren't partying. I might have just been a few drinks. Help you out with whatever you're doing, and all right, let's crash. Put on a movie, whatever, and let's pass out. And he's sleeping on his bed. I'm sleeping on the floor. And I wake up. Like I don't know what time it was. I was just like I woke up and I couldn't move. And I was trying to call him. I was like, Fer. His name's Fernando. I was like, Fer. And to me, I was like, I'm talking, dude. Why can't you hear me? And it got to the point where I felt like I was screaming. And I couldn't move. And then at some point, I finally like jerked up. And he freaked out. He's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? And I was like, dude, I was screaming your name for like half an hour. And you didn't hear me. He's like, yeah, dude, you just jerked out of, the mattress or whatever. I was like, I couldn't move, dude. I was like, I could not move. I was wide awake, and I was freaking out. I felt like a vegetable. I was like, I couldn't do anything. That's probably the first time that happened to me where I was like freaking out. Because it's happened to me other times, but when I can't move, I like realize that I'm still like in a lucid dream where my body's not reacting, but my brain's awake.
Yeah.
But like awake. Like I could open my eyes and I could see everything. So it's like I got accustomed to it, but I've never heard any weird voices or anything where it's just like, I wake up and I'm like, oh, I can't move. So this is happening again. It's happened to me a couple times, and I'm just like, okay, this is happening again. And I get to the point where I'm like, I like try to move slowly, and I finally get to the point where I'm like, okay, here we go. Now I got motion.
Yeah.
It's like I wake myself up. But those other times I'm just like, this is creepy. Because there's times where I'm just like, can't believe I'm in this situation again. Because like I said, it's happened, I don't want to say it, I think it's at least 10 times it's happened to me. Never a point where I was like hearing a voice or anything. Like I creep out because if it happens and the room's dark, then I start like tweaking because I'm like, I hate that shit. And I'm just like, I gotta move. And I'll concentrate on moving. And then I'll eventually start like, I'm like, okay, I got motion back.
Yeah.
But it is trippy. And I like, it's not something I like. It's a horrible feeling. And like, if like, I don't know if you ever do this, like where you're like, oh, I wonder where this comes from. And then you're like, oh, that's because a demon's sitting on your chest. And I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, but I was sleeping,
I was laying on my side.
I was on my belly.
Yeah.
I was like,
well, he was laying on your back.
I was like, he's on my back. Well,
yep.
Give me a little massage.
Yeah, no, dude. Yeah, I've had quite a few weird shit type things happen like that, man. To where it just freaks me the fuck out.
Yeah, no, me too, dude. Like, so, I don't know if you want to tell a story, because I got another one really quick.
You can go ahead.
Okay, so, my cousin, he's a cousin of a cousin, so, but he's, I grew up with him, he's a cousin. He's lifelong cousin, so. He, I don't know if he still works, but he used to work at a hospital. And he worked the night shift. And he was they call them wheelers in Mexico. Like, they just, like, wheel people around on, like, the stretchers. That was his job.
Okay.
And, he would have to eventually take people down to the morgue area.
Yeah.
And there was always this story that there was a little kid in the vents. So, so that's one story. He's like, dude, one time I had to, take a body down there, and you would just see, like, you could actually see the little kid in the vent, and he would like look at you and wave at you, and you could just like, he's like, it got to the point where we just ignored him because they knew it was like a ghost kid, like, because they would be like, hey, and he'd be like, hey.
That's weird, dude.
Yeah, and this was like the morgue is like usually in the basement. They don't keep the morgue in like the third floor and shit.
No.
So that's one story, and he's like that. Like it wasn't like a high traffic area, but he's like the workers there got you because he was like inoffensive. He didn't do shit. He wasn't trying to like pop out and scare you. Like you would just see him looking.
He
at
was
you.
just there.
Yeah, he was like the little kid in what's that movie? Not The Ring, the other one. The Grudge. Okay. Like the little kid wasn't like a bad ghost. He was just like there. Yeah. He's like, it was kind of like that. He's like, they would just like see him and like they would wave at him and he'd wave back and that's it. Like, but in the vents, I was like, I would not fucking work there.
Yeah, I know. If I saw fucking anybody in the vent, I'd be like, oh, okay, new job.
Yeah.
New job.
New job.
I'd be like, all right.
That happened to one of the security guards that used to work there at that hospital. He told me this story. He's like, there was a floor that nobody went to after a certain time. Like, once it got dark, they're like, nobody goes to this floor. This floor is fucking haunted or whatever. So nobody goes there. No, like, it's not even, like, nobody's there. Yeah. Like, no patients, no nurses, no doctors. Are like, that floor is fucked up. Nobody goes there. Like, it would be like, I don't know, let's say floor 13, just to make it creepier. Mm-hmm. It's like, so you go from floor 12 to 14. Nobody inhabits 13. It's off the radar. So he's like, there was this new security guard. So the other guards thought it was funny.
Let's fuck with him.
Yep.
You got to go to this floor, bro.
Let's fuck with him. Right. So story goes that they were like, hey, man, we got to do the rounds. You got to do floor 13. And he's like, no, man, let's get. He's like, come on, man, don't be a bitch. Just do it. It's your turn. And they would tell him, like, I do it all the time, Nothing happens. Like, they're like, it's creepy because there's nobody there, but nothing happens. Just go walk it. Make sure there's nobody there. Like no squatters or whatever. Yeah. So the dude, story goes, the dude went there. He quit, by the way. But they're like, he saw like shit that was like, he would see like things crawling. Like a human type person or thing. Mm-hmm. Like you're walking, towards the end of a hall and it, it splits left and right, and it's a wall.
Intersection.
Yeah, like a T intersection. And he's like, you're walking towards it, and he just sees like a thing fucking crawl across, or he would hear noises. So the dude fucking freaked out, went back downstairs. He's like, I'm fucking done. I quit. This is it. Which I don't blame him. I'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't want to work there either.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, dude, why would you do that? Like, I don't know if the other guys like lived it or just heard it, but I'd be like, dude, why would you do that to somebody? No, especially if you know like the kind of shit that goes on there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Especially I had it in a hospital.
Like I've had a couple like, I guess you could say good supernatural experiences. Yeah, like I had one. Not with. Well, there was one with Nani when she died, but anyway. The first one, I'll go back with my grandmother, my grandma Long, my dad's mom. Yeah. She passed, and it was right before Braxton was born. Okay. So, I'm living in my apartment in the Grange. Lindsay's at work, doing whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, well, it's time for me to go to bed. I gotta go to sleep. Yeah. So, I'm knocked out, sleeping, and I have this dream. And this dream is weird, dude. It's like, it's a family party. And everybody's there. My whole family on my dad's side, my mom's side, is everybody there. And my grandmother shows up. And she walks in and everybody's trying to talk to her and everything. And everybody can talk to her. Everybody can say whatever they want to say to her, but they can't touch her. Like there's like a barrier around her. Yeah. So nobody can touch her. And we're talking and everything's going cool. And this is a long dream, dude. Like it goes on for a while. Like I'm sleeping good. Yeah. And I'm just going and like everybody's enjoying the party and talking to her and saying how great it is to see her and everything. Yeah. And then I'm going up to talk to her, and she looks at me. She goes, "Hey, look, he let me come down here to say goodbye, but now it's time for me to go."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What? What did you just say?" I'm like, she goes, "He let me come down here to say goodbye, but that's why you can't touch me. I'm only allowed to come down here to say goodbye." And as that happened, I woke up like bawling my eyes out.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, holy shit, like, did she fucking come down to say goodbye?
Yeah.
Because she didn't have a chance to say goodbye.
Oh.
And it freaked me the fuck out. Like, I'm still freaked out to this day about it. Like, and it was weird because then, like, I don't know how long ago after that happened, I think it was me and Lindsay and Braxton went to the cemetery to see her, like, you know, put flowers and everything down.
Yeah.
And it was really weird. Like, all this, it was really, like, the weather was all weird. Everything was acting all fucked up. And then we go and we sit there. And then it was like literally everything fucking stopped. The clouds broke. The sun came up. Everything was good. We're sitting there talking to her, telling her how much we miss her.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was one of the most surreal things that I've ever had happen to me in my life. Like, that moment where she comes down to tell me that she has to leave and he only let her come down to say goodbye.
Yeah.
And then the shitty fucking weather. And then when we get to her gravesite and we sit down, we put a blanket down and we're sitting there, and like Braxton's sitting there just like content. He's like not moving, and he's like 6-8 months old or whatever.
Yeah.
Just sitting there completely content, not doing anything.
Yeah.
And the sun comes up and everything's going on. Like
the storm broke.
Yeah, it was really weird. And then I had another one not similar to that, but just another one that was kind of eerie. I guess she would be my great grandmother.
Okay.
Her name was Addie Mae. Full on like Cherokee Indian. Like, she was like 5 foot nothing.
Yeah.
She had hair from like down to her ankles, like straight black hair. Just like straight black hair, stone faced Native American. Like, she never looked happy. Even when she was smiling, she still looked mad. So like, I don't know like how it came about into a conversation. Like, we were talking about that, and like I was living at Lindsay's parents' house at the time, and we had our room, and then the boys had their room. And the way that it was set up is like you'd walk up the stairs, and it was like, our bedroom is here, and then the boys' bedroom was there, and it was Emmett's crib was here, and then Braxton had his bed on the other side of the wall.
Same room?
Yeah, same room. So I'm walking, and actually they're in that room now, and they're with her. But anyway, so I'm walking in to say goodnight, I got home from work because I was working my second job, and I just wanted to look at them and just, you know, like give them a kiss goodnight and rub their hair and everything because I was going to bed.
Yeah.
And as I walked in, I literally opened the door. I walked in, and my great grandmother was standing there, and I walked around her to give Braxton a kiss, and then I came back and gave Emmett a kiss, and then I walked back around her and came out of the room. Like completely like
not disrupting her.
I didn't even think twice about it. Like, I literally, it was like she was there.
Yeah.
And I walked in, walked around her, and did what I needed to do. And I remember coming out and then going and talking to Lindsay at the time, and I go, and it didn't click at first.
Yeah.
And then I just told her, I'm like, I think my great grandmother was just in the room looking at the boys.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? What the hell are you talking about? I'm like, my great grandmother was standing in the room in front of Emmett's crib, looking at him. And I'm like, and the crazy thing was, like, we were just talking about her.
Yeah.
Like, that earlier in that day before I went to work, or when I came home from work before I went to my other job.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it was so weird.
But it didn't like freak you out.
No, it didn't freak me out at all. Like she was there, and I literally like was just like, oh,
it was like a calming presence.
I'm like, oh, there's Addie Mae. Just walked around her, did my thing, and then as soon as I got out of the door, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Did I just fucking walk around her? Like, yeah. And I remember opening the door and she was gone, and I'm like, I'm like, we talked about her, and she fucking came and did whatever apparition she was to come and look at her.
Yeah. That's crazy, dude.
I know, dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I know that.
I was always told I see things that aren't really there, so.
Well, yeah, a little bit crazy.
I know.
I can vouch for that. But, like, I know, like after my dad passed, we all had dreams about him. I had dreams, like, my uncle passed away, too. He was, like, a second father figure to me. He was a really cool dude. And he was a jokester, dude. He was really always just, like a shit talker kind of guy.
Yeah.
Funny, though. And they passed away within a year from each other. Like, not even. It was, like, 10 months. So, I remember I had a dream, and I was, like... It was weird, because I was at, like, this dude's house that I know. And it was, like, we were upstairs. Like, we had, like, a slumber party. And my dad and my uncle were coming up the stairs. And I'm like, oh, we're just here to hang out with you for a little bit. I was like, what? Well, yeah, we're just here to hang out with you, before we go. Which is weird. And then my mom always tells me, she's like, oh, I jumped with your dad. And I was like, don't take his hand. you know the stories, right?
Yes.
Where it's like, if you see, like, or you dream, like, don't take their hand because you're gone.
Oh, yeah.
The second you do that. And then they say there's malicious spirits that'll appear in your dream, or if you're, like, in that immobilized state where you think you're sleeping, but you're awake, and I'll be like, take my hand,
Well, see, that's why I think, like, the ones that I've encountered, like, nothing was ever bad. Like, I had a dream about...
Still don't take their hand.
Oh, no, like, they never asked me for that.
Yeah.
They'd always say, hey, I'm not allowed to do this, that, and the other. I'm just here to say what I'm allowed to say,
Yeah.
Like, I had one about Nani not too long ago, where it was like, it was a similar thing.
Yeah.
Where she was just like, hey, you can't come here.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to want to say this and that and the other. And then I was able to say my piece to her, and, yeah, dude, it's weird, man.
It's weird. I don't know if we're, like, talking to him on another realm.
And I think we are, like, and that's where, when I feel like with that, how we ended the previous episode when we were talking about,
where
like,
you're, like, lucid or whatever.
Like, not even lucid, but I feel like you go in that astral plane to where you can connect with things. Like, do I think that we live in a simulation? No. I don't believe in the simulation part of it. Do I believe that there's other things at play that we can, like, when we go to sleep, does our brain trigger some other thing because we only use 10% of our brain, that when we go to sleep maybe we unlock another thing that we're able to do
subconsciously? Yeah. I mean, I've always believed in that sort of stuff, and I think here's the thing. Did you ever see the movie Stir of Echoes? Where they're like, oh, I unlocked your brain, and that's why you can see all this crap. Yeah. I think, personally, that subconsciously, we all have access to that. Yeah. We just don't know how to use it.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know how to use it.
Here. We're talking about all these things. Like, do you think that ghosts exist?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And I believe that there's bad ghosts, good ghosts. Yeah. I feel like if you... I don't want to get down to the... I don't want to go down the religious road of angels and demons. But, like, do you think that there's like evil spirits or demonic entities out there?
So, here's the thing.
Like, here, I'll tell you, that day that I had that sleep paralysis where I was hearing that voice, I thought I was...
that was a bad thing.
Like, I thought I was being possessed.
Well, here's the thing.
And I fought it off.
I'll tell you this.
Because I was at a weak point in my life when that was going on.
I'll tell you this.
And it's never happened to me again.
I'll freak out. Like, if I'm... I don't want to sound like a pussy, but, like, if I'm down here by myself in the basement, where, nothing goes on. It's just, bunch of toys and shit. But, like, I turn off the lights, if it's night out, and then there's a light that goes up the stairs, and I'm like, all right, Daisy, go upstairs. And then I shut off the light. And I'm like, boop, close the door right away behind me. Because I'm like, I don't want anything fucking pulling me down. Fuck that. I've seen too many movies.
Oh, no, I do the same thing when I'm doing laundry.
Yeah, dude.
When I'm doing laundry in the basement, I go.
Yep.
I make sure all the lights are on until I get upstairs.
And I don't know if that's like a subconscious thing that you're just like freaking out. But I'm just like, yep, nope.
Well, like I've never felt anything like negative in my house. I felt a presence in my house before. This is really weird. Like I really felt that there was something in my house. Okay. But it wasn't bad.
I'm not coming over anymore.
No, it's not there anymore because like, dude, so there was one point. Fuck, how many years ago was it? I think it was before I was with Colleen. Okay. So maybe like 5.5 years ago, whatever it was. I changed all my batteries, my smoke detectors. And then one day, all my fucking smoke detectors start going off.
Are they hardwired?
No. Oh. No, they're all battery operated, everything is separate.
Well, okay.
No, but just listen. So I changed, like, I had enough batteries to only change like a few at the time. Okay. So I was like, I changed the ones in the bedrooms and the ones on the main level and the ones upstairs. Yeah. And I didn't have enough to change the ones in the basement. So one day I'm just like, I'm sleeping because I was working midnights. Get home from work and just beep, beep.
Kind of like this one's going off.
And it was just going off, but it was like, it would be one and then another one. And then they wouldn't go off for a couple hours, but then they would do it again and again. So I'm like, and I think I don't know if it was like, I forgot who I had over. Somebody's like, oh, maybe you have a ghost that's like fucking with you. So then like, I don't know how that even came about. So like the one day I'm sleeping and
that's probably me.
No, it wasn't you.
Say some fucked up shit
but like the way that it was going, I remember just like screaming one time. I'm like, could you just like wait like 6 hours and just let me get some fucking sleep and then you can start beeping again. Yeah. And it beeped and stopped. So it stopped beeping. Yeah. And I got like 6.5 hours of sleep. And as soon as I woke up, got up, like ready to do whatever I needed to do for the day, fucking started beeping again. So I'm like, ugh. All right. So then I go and I change however many more I could do. Yeah. And I was still missing like 2 or 3. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm eating and it just beeps again. But it did a different beep. Like it did like a beep, beep, like a weird beep in between. And I'm like, if you're like, if you're something that's here, I want you to beep 3 times.
And it beeped 3 times.
And it went beep, beep, beep. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? And I'm like,
beep 3 times if it's a yes.
No, but it was literally just like, are you for real? And it was like beep beep. And I'm like, oh my god. So like it would keep doing this on and on and on and on and on. And I'm like, look.
So it was like a Ouija smoke detector.
Yeah, dude, it just wouldn't fucking stop. But then it would be like, I'd be like, all right, hey, beep in the attic. Beep beep. And I'm like, holy fuck. Like you're like, and I'm sitting there like, all right, am I losing my mind? Yeah. And then I changed all the smoke detectors, and I remember saying, I'm like, hey, look, like, if you're cool, I don't mind. But like I don't want you to freak out my kids. I don't want anything else like that. I'm like, if you can go, I want you to go.
So you had a cool ghost living in
your house. And it went, and it hasn't done it ever since. Yeah. But it was the weirdest thing because I'm just sitting there, I'm like, man, this is so fucking strange, dude.
Well, I'm never crashing at your house again.
No, that's not bad. It wasn't bad, dude. Like, I've never had a bad presence in that house.
No, like, the reason I was asking if your smoke detectors were hardwired, because one time, this is a while back, I was sleeping at 3 a.m. It was just me and my mom living in the house.
Well, that's the witching hour, too. So
it was like 3:20.
3:33.
No, stop. I know that. I think our listeners know that, too. And if they don't, that's the worst hour. That's the reverse of the Holy Trinity. Mm-hmm. Trinity?
Holy Trinity.
Yeah. Reverse of the Holy Trinity. But, yeah, no, it was like 3 something. I might have been 2. I could be off.
And whenever I go to sleep and I wake up and I look at the clock, if it says 3:30, I go right back to bed.
Yep.
I'm like, I don't even want to be awake.
Grip the pillow and just be like, nope, going back to bed.
Like, whatever happens, I'm sleeping. Nope,
Yep.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, so we just woke up to like blaring alarms because our smoke detectors are hardwired, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" It was like a full on panic. Me and Mom were like, "What the hell's going on?" And so I'm like, "Shit, the fire detectors are going off." So I bolted down here to the basement. Obviously, I turned on every light I could on the way down here, and I ran into the pump room, which is where the lights or the breaker box is, and I'm like, boom, smoke detectors, kill them. I was like, I think we got to switch the batteries or something. So we checked them, switched all the batteries, turned them back on. They went back to normal. That's why I was asking about that. Because,
No, dude,
waking up to that sound is horrible.
No. This was on command.
Yeah,
I'd be like, do this.
you had Google or Alexa smoke detectors.
Yeah, dude.
That's what it is.
No, and I don't. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it got to the point where I was just like, I didn't even care. Because
Yeah.
like it would beep. I'd be like, dude, I'm getting in the shower right now. Just wait like 2 hours,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't go off. And then like 2 hours and like 2 minutes later, it'd go off again. Like it was literally to that point.
Yeah.
Like I remember there's one point I got home. So I got off at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
I get home at like 6:15, 6:20. Get ready for bed, and I couldn't fall asleep. And then the fucking thing started going off. I'm like, hey, could you not do this today because I'm not feeling it and I really
I'm
want
not
to
in
sleep?
the mood today, Ghost.
And it wouldn't go off, dude. It wouldn't go off until the next day. And then I would have to, and then I'd be like, all right, I'm changing these alarms. You're going to have to do something else.
Right?
So I don't know if I was just like, my house was like a gateway or like a fucking bus stop for, supernatural beings. But that happened, and I was always a firm believer before, but that even solidified even more to where I'm like, I'm asking shit on command.
Well, I mean, kind of branching off of that, I think, like, if you don't believe in any of that stuff, I mean, you don't have to be a full-blown believer.
No.
You don't have to be, like, but you gotta know there's, like, some weird stuff going on sometimes. I mean,
yeah.
I think, like, every person has a scary story about, like,
Anything.
happened.
Yeah.
And they'll try to rationalize it in some way or another, but it's like, nah, dude. Like, even Talia's told me stories, and I'm just like, yeah, and I'll try to rationalize her stories because I'm like, my shit's way scarier than yours. But then she's like, no, this happened, and I'm just like, did it though? And I'm like, because like,
I can see her stories being like, and you're like, all right, I believe you.
Yeah,
Because you don't talk about this kind of stuff.
yeah, exactly. No, she'll try to play pranks on me, dude. Where she's just like, there's somebody watching us, like in the closet, and I'm just like, shut up. She says, no, for real. And she'll do like I'm really freaked out, and I'm just like, stop. And then she's like, I'm just kidding, and I'm just like, I was about to deck you, because I'm like,
Yeah, no.
Like one time, I'll tell you this story. One time I got home, and this is when I was still at the quarry. So I got home at like 2 in the morning, 2:30, almost 3 o'clock. And, I try to be quiet because I'm like, I don't want to wake anybody up. And I don't turn lights on because, that could wake somebody up. So I get in, and I start walking up the stairs. And she crawled out of the, like, when you walk up the stairs, there's like a 3-foot gap, and then there's the bathroom door to the left.
Mm-hmm.
She crawled out on all fours, and she's like, you're home. And I almost fucking decked her, dude.
Oh, no.
I screamed, and I was
She
like,
would have got kicked right in the face.
dude, I was already pulling back. I was like, Like, because I'm like, I'm not scared to say, I'm like, I'll freak out.
Yeah.
But I'm going to come at you swinging. Like, I'll freak out. I'll scream like you won't hear me scream normal, but like you get, like, my soul leaves my body, and I'm just like, this is autopilot right now.
Dude, I remember we went to a haunted house.
Oh, I got a haunted house story.
And I was having the greatest time of my life because I was fucking with everybody. I was making sure, I was trying my best to get the characters to get out of character.
Yeah.
So like one dude came up to me all like, "Rrr." I'm like, oh, hey dude, how you doing? And he's just like, hey bro, how you doing? I'm like, oh, good. And then another one, like, he was like, whew. I'm like, hey. And he's like, what? I'm like, you were good, but no.
Was this at the Statesville prison?
No, the one in Lockport. The one in Lockport has really good. Like the costumes and everything are really good.
I can't do that.
Oh, dude,
like a couple.
Oh, dude,
because Talia won't.
There was like 8 of us. Oh, I was having the time of my life. Colleen's getting mad at me. She's like, "Stop doing this shit." I'm like, you know what? This is the best part.
Did she freak out or no?
Sometimes, yeah. But she was getting mad because I was like getting those people.
You're like toning the shit down.
Yes, because I was getting them to fuck up.
Yeah.
And they hated the fact that they were fucking up because I was throwing them off.
Yeah.
So we were going through and like we had to walk. So when you get there, like you go to a pickup and then a bus drops you off at the main gate. And then you go into where you need to go. And then it's probably like a 1/4 mile walk through the woods to get to the house that's haunted.
Okay.
So like, and as you're walking through the woods, there's all this haunted shit that's going on.
Ooh.
Yeah. So like, it's fun because I'm fucking around with people and just like, oh shit, there they are over there. Yeah. Like, oh, let's not worry about those guys over there in the bushes. And just like walking by. But then I had one where like, so I walked past the window and as I walked past the window, they broke it to like do a jump scare type thing.
Yeah.
Dude, I almost backhanded this dude.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh shit. Okay, that's not bad. And I'm walking, and then a chick was doing the reverse crab walk.
Oh yeah, like The Exorcist.
Yes, but perfect.
Ooh.
Like it scared the shit out of me. Where I looked at Kelly and I'm like, I can't see that again. Yeah. I'm like, if we see that again, we need to find somebody to just get us out of here because I won't be able to go into the house. And she's like, what? I'm like that is what freaks me out.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff I'm scared of. So we go through the whole thing.
The contortionists?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going through everything and everything's fine. And we get up to the house and now we have to wait in line to get into the house. And this fucking dude is like trying to scare Colleen and scare me. And he's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this and blah, 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 and take your girl. I'm like, fucking take her, dude. I don't give a shit. And he's like, what did you say? He like completely broke character. I'm like, take her. I'm like, I don't care. And then we go through the whole haunted house, and it's really cool. And at the end of it, we're going through, and we go through the house. At the end, it's like there's like a fog machine going on, but it's a fog machine, and it also has like lasers going. Okay, so you can't see like from your chin down because of the lasers and the fog. It throws it off as far as like your depth perception and what you can see. So we're walking to get out, and this fucking dude like pops up like this close to my face, and the only thing I said to him was like, you need to do a better job because that is way too fucking close. And he was like, he even stopped. He's like, yeah, you're right. This is way too close for me to do this. I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, could you please back up so I can walk around you? He's like, oh yeah. Here, get out. Dude. And he's in full costume and makeup and everything. And he's just like, he's like, oh yeah, dude, I'm sorry. Here, I'll move over to the side.
Dude, so, okay. We went to the...
And Colleen was mad at me the whole time because I kept on doing that shit. I was scared at points, but she's like, why did you do that? I'm like, because it makes it funny.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm like, I'd rather just have more fun.
Yeah. Dude, we...
Our fire went out.
Yeah, no, it's because it's freezing up shit, so... Oh. But I can get it going again.
I feel like you need to put some more logs on the fire.
There we go. Logs are back on.
Kinda. Wait, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, see, that's what happens.
You gotta put some more heat on it.
Oh, that's why we should have had it going on your computer.
Oh yeah, we could have done that.
Yeah.
But the volume on my computer isn't that great.
It's okay.
If only we would have had logs yesterday, we could have done a real fire.
Oh, dude, we gotta do that. We gotta do that.
I know.
So, my haunted house story was at the Statesville, and we had to cut the trip short because Talia was freaking the fuck out, like bad. Like we had to stop. Like me, I was like, we're going in, and there was these like black chicks in front of us. And I was like, this is going to be awesome. They're going to be freaking out and screaming all kinds of crap. I was like, this is going to be the best haunted house trip ever. So we're going, right, and they're doing it. They're like freaking out at everything. And I'm like, but they like stop you. They're like, you need to stop here so like the guy can prepare for the next scare jump.
Yeah.
And so we're going through, and I'm like, he's gonna pop out here, and I'm like ruining it. I'm like, somebody's gonna jump out there, possibly over here, and we're doing the walkthrough, and she's just like, she's like grabbing me like really tight, and I'm like, you know, these are costumed actors. I'm like, just go in with that mentality.
Yeah.
You know, they're actors. Nothing's really gonna happen.
But there are those moments where you're like, oh shit, you got me.
Yeah. No,
you know?
Well, that's the thing. They never got me. I was like, and I'm not just like being like, oh, macho man. I was just like, I was prepared because I'm like, if they jumped in my face, I would be like, oh, but that's it.
I even had times when I was laughing, dude. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this was so good. And he'd be like, what? I'm like, it was good.
Yeah.
I'm like, it was good. I had to laugh.
No, and I had moments like that too where I was just like, that was a good one, man. But I was like, I'm expecting something here.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like prepared, and I'll clench, but I won't be like, oh.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Colleen would hate when I would start laughing.
Yeah.
She's like, why the fuck are you laughing? I'm like, all right. It's like, I'm like, there's a little bit of intensity right now, but I'm like, I'm just laughing because I know it's not real.
Exactly. So
and I'm like, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, this is hilarious.
So, dude, we got to the halfway point, and Talia couldn't even like she was crying, dude, like legit crying, and she was holding me, and I was like, okay, close your eyes, grab me, like grab my arm with both your arms, put your head on my shoulder, and I'll walk us out of here. So we got to a point where I got to a hallway. Because I was just like laughing. I'm like, there's going to be something there. There's something. And I'm just like laughing the whole way through because I'm like still laughing because these chicks were in front of us like, oh my God. Oh, no, you didn't. Oh, they're going to get us. So they're doing all that stuff. And I'm laughing and Talia's crying, dude. Oh, so man. I get to a point where it's like, it's not even an exit point. And I get out into a well-lit hallway where there's no like strobes or anything. And I tell him, I was like, dude, you got to get a manager or somebody to pull us out of here because she can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
oh yeah, we had. Like, there was like when we were at that one in Lockport. I remember, at least I think I remember. There was somebody like either in front of us or behind us that was like really freaking out. And I remember like telling the actors that were going on, I'm like, hey, is there any way you can get, like, hey, you, and I'm like, and I tried to get them to even break character. I'm like, hey, you got to get these people out. Like, they're freaking out. Like, there's a difference between like being scared and like, still enjoying it and it being like legitimately freaked out.
They go on a shot.
And like they stopped, like they had like two like scenes, I guess you would say, in front of us, like stopped to get these people out. You know, like, and then I'd be like, hey, I'm like, everybody fine? Like, oh yeah, they'll be fine. But like, give us a minute. We have to get them out and everything else. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I don't care about that. Like, you know, but I don't want people fucking having a panic attack. And
that happened to us because we were like, we had to get out. Like they took us out through like a hallway that wasn't an exit, and we had to get like a manager or whoever was in charge to like, come get us.
Really?
Out. And I was like, well, I could keep going, but I'm like, I'm not gonna leave her alone. So we exited the haunted house halfway through, and then it was like a 2-part thing where it's like you do the laser tag and you're shooting the zombies.
Oh, nice.
That was awesome. So here's the kicker. I'm like, do you want to do that or not? I told her. I was like, she's like, okay.
Do you want to shoot some zombies?
That was outside. That was like in the yard area. She's like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, I'm going like full fucking Chris Redfield Resident Evil style. I'm like pulling it up and I'm like, oh, these motherfuckers ain't gonna get me. I got these dudes. I'm like, they're dead. So I'm walking around. The dudes are like, oh, you got me. And let's walk back to they go back to their spot. Like, they go back to their spot. And then they had a guy with a chainsaw without the chain, obviously. Yeah. He's just like got the motor going.
Yeah.
So I'm like 2 feet ahead of her because I'm like, I'm gonna kill them all. Kill them all. So I'm doing that, and
I'll be back later.
So I shoot the guy, and he stops, and he sees her. She's like, and she's shooting him like a bunch of times, and she's like, "Why won't he die? Why won't he die?" And the dude's like laughing, coming at her, and I'm just like, I'm laughing with the guy, and she's like, "I shot you. You're supposed to die." And he's like, "I'm just playing with you." Like he had to like comfort her because she was like starting to freak out because dude's in full costume with a chainsaw. She started freaking out again. And he's like, "Oh, I'm just kidding. And he went back to the spot. But we finished. Like, he did that only to her.
No, man.
Like, we saw people in front of us. They were like 10 feet in front of us. They're like, "Oh, they come at you and you shoot them." Like you don't even give them a time, like a period of time to come at you. You're just like, "Oh, he's like 20 feet away. Boom, got him." Because they got like those laser things on them, laser tag things. But this dude was like, he just kept coming, and I was like, "Oh, this is like the dude from Resident Evil 4."
He's the boss.
He's the boss. So, like, I got him.
You didn't give me with enough hits.
Yeah. No, dude, it was funny because, like, he didn't go after me because I was like, doo-doo-doo-doo, and I was moving to the side, and then he just, like, went after her. And he was like, woo, woo, and I was like, enjoy. He's just like, I don't know why he didn't stop. He was supposed to stop. I shot him, and I was like, oh, you got to get him a couple times, man. Those bosses are like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
he has the chainsaw. He's bigger.
I was like, you got no game, girl.
You gotta aim. You gotta do headshots.
You gotta do headshots,
ball shots, and heart shots.
Or you gotta, hit him in the kneecaps, and then you do a reverse kick.
Yep. Or you just hit him with the gun. Just beat him.
Yeah. No, I was. The dude started laughing afterwards. He's like, I was just playing with you. It's a jump scare. And she's like, oh no, but I shot you. And I was just laughing. I was like, it's all good, man. I was like, it's fun. I was like, if you done that shit to me, it wouldn't faze me.
She'll get it tomorrow. It's okay.
Yeah. It was funny as fuck, though. I enjoyed it. You got any more scary stories? I mean, I got a couple more, but I don't know, man. I feel like we put a lot.
Yeah, we put a lot out there.
Yeah.
I wish the fire was still going, though. I kind of worry. I wish there was still a little bit of crackling going on.
It's just slowing everything down, dude.
I know. It's okay.
It's good, though.
But no, I think this is a good spot to call it a night.
It is.
And put the fire out and...
I've been trying to hold those back all night because these things are...
Oh, no, we can't hold it back, dude. You just got to let it go.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's...
You got to let them rip?
The fire's out.
Fire's out. It's been pissed on.
The ambiance is where it's at, Yeah. We could tell some more ghost stories, but it's just like the fire really brings it.
Yeah, no, the crackling.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I know. But no, I got nothing else for tonight.
So
I'm gonna finish this strawberry White Claw, and then head off into the darkness of Frontage Road to Renwick.
Yeah. It is. It was pretty dark.
It is a dark road, dude.
Yeah.
I had 3 people die on that road.
I just really had to take a pee.
Oh, okay. Well, that has nothing to do with the dark road that I had to drive on, but okay.
Yeah, that's true. It's just, I think it's a good time to call it.
Yeah.
Any warning for all those listeners about the supernatural?
No, but I was just going to say, like, it is a little different from our normal format, so instead of doing a shot, we're just going to keep drinking these White Claws until we have to go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for all you listeners, don't get scared.
Yep, and this has been a lot of fun.
It has been a lot of fun. Thanks for listening.
Listen to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio. Check us out. We're going to be putting some stuff on Instagram and Facebook later on, hopefully this week or next week, to kind of give the pages some life.
Yeah,
instead of some posts that we have of nothing, or a few beers, there'll actually be pictures of us and things that we do and people in our lives that we care about and the reason why we do the things that we do.
Yeah, we just wanted to give you guys something a little bit different
than
what we normally do, and
I kind of like this. I like when we don't have to talk about anything else, but just some random topic that we have.
Oh yeah, it's always a good time.
Maybe we can consider the make it be fireside stories, and we just talk about stuff with the fire going.
Oh yeah.
Maybe dim the lights a little bit more.
Oh
yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, no, we could definitely do that. So we hope you guys enjoyed the show, and like we said, don't forget to follow and listen to us. We appreciate every listener out there.
Yeah. And episode 7 will be coming pretty soon too.
Yes.
We have to figure out what we want to do, but
yeah. But don't forget to give us a shout out on Facebook. Any recommendations we will take into consideration.
Yeah. Tell us what you guys want to,
Yeah.
or you guys talk shit. Doesn't care. We don't talk shit back.
Yeah, we'll talk shit back. I don't care.
But we appreciate everything. And this is it for the Fireside Stories episode. Well, episode 6 of the podcast, but episode 1 of Fireside Stories.
Yes. And I think we both got a lot of stories we can share later on. Scary stories or supernatural stories. We didn't even talk about the show.
Well, yeah, we can get to that. We can get to that another day.
It's gonna be a whole other episode.
Yes, that's a whole nother episode, and yeah, we're good.
Okay. Well, you guys have a good night, and not good night because this will come out probably at noon.
Yeah.
But we hope
have
you
a
enjoy.
good day.
Have a good day, and
talk to you soon.
Don't get scared. Oh, I gotta take a piss.
How long was that one?
Like an hour or something.
Ooh.